Good day, everyone. Hopefully you're doing particularly well. It's Bruce from the Joinery Coach. It's a Friday at about 4 o'clock, and I thought I would jump on here and do a live before the weekend sneaks up on us. Now, it's an interesting topic I've posted, and the reality is this is probably going to rustle some feathers or raise some eyebrows, and I hope it does, because the reality of what's being said out there in the marketplace, or let me say it differently, what's actually being said out in the marketplace and the reality are so far from each other. It's really, really painful to watch. And I am going to be one of those people that is going to stand up and maybe create some friction or some, maybe some debate. But there's only one thing that comes out of friction and debate, and it's much like a diamond, right? A diamond gets created through pressure. So let's get real here. The skills shortage that we hear in our industry, and I'm not going to talk about plumbers and carpenters and pipe fitters and bricklayers and all those sorts of trades, because that's not my expertise, and I'm not going to for a second think that I know what's going on in those industries. But we at the Joinery Coach do work in the cabinet making, the joinery, the millwork, shop fitting industry every single day, every hour of almost every day, sometimes every weekend. I am a cabinet maker. I'm set up my own little home cabinet shop. I live and breathe this stuff, and I've been doing this for a long time. And the what's obvious for us is not obvious to a lot of people. The reality is that most cabinet making and joinery businesses that we see go out and try and hire cabinet makers, and we can't find cabinet makers because they're not easy to find. First thing is, and you can see we've done a podcast on this, so you can see that you're having a hard time finding cabinet makers. That's true, because the good ones are already employed. And if by going out and trying to find a cabinet maker means you're actually going on one of the employment websites like Seek or Indeed or any of those things, good cabinet makers aren't looking for a job. They're working in a cabinet shop. But here's the reality of it. If you have a cabinet shop and you are just simply looking to hire a cabinet maker to do everything, you're actually creating the skill shortage problem. That's actually what you're doing. Because if I'm a cabinet maker, which I am, and you ask me to jump into your cabinet shop and do everything, not only are you going to ask me to do the skills that I, as a cabinet maker, am trained to do, and we know what they are. Most of them aren't being used. Nobody makes dovetail joints anymore, in reality. We don't do a lot of the stuff that cabinet makers are trained to do. But if you do employ me as a cabinet maker, and you ask me to do cabinet making skills-related tasks, I'm pretty happy. But that's not the case. Unfortunately, that actually isn't the case of what happens in most cases. You also hire a cabinet maker to sweep the floor, to put the stock away, to lift and carry things, to load a CNC machine, to feed an edge bander, to drive to site and unload cabinets. Now, these unrelated, untrade-related tasks tend to make up, on average, about 70% of what your business does. That's just a statistical fact. If we actually break down the tasks into tasks in a typical cabinet making and joinery business, tasks that are specifically only able to be done by a person trained as a cabinet maker, they're not going to be any more than 20 or 30% of all the tasks you do in a business. Yet the problem in this industry, and this is worldwide, the problem is most people hire cabinet makers to do everything. So what's happened as a result of this? Well, first of all, I like the analogy. Could you imagine having 5 Gordon Ramseys in a kitchen? Would you ever dream of that? Or could you even imagine what that would be like? There would be yelling and screaming, and nobody would get along, and everybody would be arguing. Kind of sounds like our industry, doesn't it? So we hire these highly skilled people to do everything. That is what we see out there in the marketplace. Need to hire a cabinet maker to do what? To put square boxes together. Look, I personally have trained 15, 16-year-old kids on an assembly bench to put square boxes together. That's a simple, basic, rudimentary process. that's not really a cabinet making related skill. Yes, it falls into the cabinet making category, but the reality is if you actually are trained as a cabinet maker and you take 4 years of your life to learn how to be a cabinet maker, and you're told for the next 20, 30 years of your life you're going to sit on an assembly bench and put square boxes together, and you're happy with that, you're not really a cabinet maker. So, we have to, in this industry, as leaders in this industry, and people that own businesses, you have to go up a level into a place where you can think about what does the business actually need to be successful. And if you go up a level again where we live, we talk about what does the industry need for the industry to be successful. What the industry needs is people to stop thinking that if you have a cabinet making and joinery business, you have a trade business. You do not have a trade business. If you're a carpenter going out on site, you have a trade business. If you're a plumber doing plumbing work, you have a trade business. But if you have actually invested sometimes millions of dollars into machinery, bricks and mortar, building, machinery, office, showroom, all these things, vehicles to deliver cabinets, you have a manufacturing business. And in manufacturing, as is the case in all manufacturing, you have some requirement to have high skill, possibly. And in those very limited cases, you would hire the right skill level for that position. Might be a cabinet maker. Think about automotive. Automotive does not require mechanics everywhere. We have potentially some mechanics where they're needed, but generally speaking, automotive manufacturing creates great processes and teaches really good people how to follow the processes. It's basic rudimentary process work. When and where that works particularly well. And in a cabinet making and joinery business, that works in most of the places in your business. So we have to stop this. We have to stop this perpetual grinding of we need more cabinet makers. We need highly technical skilled people to come in and put cabinets together, put square boxes together, and then unload the truck, load the truck, receive goods, put goods away, feed CNC machines, feed edge banders. We know from our clients over years and years and years of working with businesses that when we actually need someone in your business, the best person to hire is the best person for the particular skill that you need to be done. And we can't have a particular skill being, sometimes we need someone to receive goods from the shipping, and sometimes we need someone to be putting cabinets together, and sometimes we need someone to be doing veneer layup work or curved work, and sometimes we need that person to be doing installation work. That cannot be the person that you hire. Now, if you're a small business, I grant you that in the short term that may be what happens. But your plan has to be to grow to a stage where that person's task gets separated into, they might become a full-time installer. So that person then becomes a full-time installation person. In the factory, we segment the tasks into basic rudimentary tasks and only have tradespeople where tradespeople are needed. As a business owner in this industry, we have to change our thinking into manufacturing needs, business needs. Otherwise, we're going to stay on this perpetual wheel of I can't find good people. In other words, can't find good tradespeople. And absolutely, when you keep doing this, you're actually contributing to the problem, because when you hire a tradesperson and ask them to do all of these things, what you do is you actually tie up your tradespeople. You tie them up doing all the things that they should be doing and all the things that they shouldn't be doing. You tie the tradespeople up that you hire so that they never have any time to teach the apprentice. And when they do, it's under this incredible amount of pressure because the tradesperson goes, I haven't got time to teach the apprentice. I'm too busy putting square boxes together. I'm too busy feeding. I'm too busy doing all these things. When in actual fact, 30% of the things they're doing is the only thing they should be doing. We could take 70% of their stuff away from them by bringing somebody in and teaching them how to do it very easily. So in actual fact, by hiring tradespeople and having them do all the things that tradesperson needs to be done, you're actually creating the problem we have right now, which is those people that have the skills that we want them to pass them on to other people. It's now being done in a terrible, terrible way because the tradespeople are under pressure. They're never happy. They're always just telling the apprentice what to do. Once the apprentice doesn't get it, the tradesperson says the apprentice is an idiot, and it's just this terrible outcome because the tradesperson doesn't have time to devote to building the apprentices and training the apprentices like they should. Therefore, the apprentice themselves has a bad experience. Now, if that apprentice is going to their parties, their get-togethers, and their friends are going, "Hey, how you going? Like, what do you experience at work?" They're going, "I'm having a terrible time. The tradesman hates me. The tradesman's always yelling at me. I'm not getting it." And they're telling all of their friends how terrible this experience is. Now, this just has the domino effect throughout the whole world of these cabinet makers and cabinet shops having a terrible experience because the tradespeople are overwhelmed, and we don't bring in people to relieve the tradespeople of the basic, rudimentary, mundane things that they shouldn't be doing in the first place. Therefore, that tradesperson trying to teach the apprentice is creating this terrible experience. And the apprentice is going to their friends and going, "Don't become a cabinet maker because, oh my God, what a horrible experience this is." So is it any wonder we don't have more apprentices coming in? Because the ones we do have are telling everybody how terrible this experience is. And the statistics only prove this even further. When we look at the statistics, certainly here in Australia, the statistics tell us that over 70% of all apprentices who, after their 4th year and they get their ticket, over 70% of all apprentices leave the place they got their apprenticeship from, they got their ticket from, to find a better situation. 70% of apprentices in the cabinet industry here in Australia leave their place of work after they got their ticket to go and find a new job somewhere else, which is a better experience. So statistics back up the theory. This is actually what's happening out in the industry. And we desperately, desperately want business owners, cabinet shop owners, joinery owners, millwork, windows, doors, whatever you build in this industry. We desperately want you to join us in thinking about your business and as a manufacturing business and looking at it from the top down and being very objective about it. You're probably a cabinet maker yourself. You're probably a tradesperson yourself. So you're probably holding on to the belief that you need to have a tradesman in all these different roles. And if your business is struggling with that thought process and that belief, it's time to wake up and say, okay, this isn't working. You've got to go up a level to where you've never been before and start looking at your business as a manufacturing business. Now, here's the challenge. Here's the real challenge. Most cabinet makers, most tradespeople or technicians were never taught how to think about manufacturing or entrepreneurial mindset. You were never taught that. So here's the good news and the bad news. There's a double-edged sword here. The good news is it's not your fault. The good news and the bad news is you were wired to think this way. So when you became a tradesman, those 4 years of training taught you how to be a technician. It actually taught you step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. It taught you very basic rudimentary thinking. So you're wired. It's almost like your DNA is set up this way. You're wired to think this way. Now, if you've gone out and started a business and you're still using that type of thinking, that mindset, it's going to be it's going to be a very hard road for you. I'm very sorry to say this, but it's going to be a very difficult road. You have to stop and know that where you need a tradesperson in your business doing trades-related things, they need to think like that. You, as a business owner, cannot think like that. You have to go up a level into manufacturing and process thinking. There's a massive difference between project thinking, which is technical thinking, step 1, step 2, step 3, as a tradesman, and process thinking, which is overall complexity of process efficiencies. So as a business owner, if you own a joinery business, cabinet making business, whatever it is that you own, whatever it is you make, we want everybody in this industry to join us in going into the manufacturing mindset and thinking about what you actually need in certain places. For example, you don't really need a tradesman loading a CNC machine or loading an edge bander. You don't. You really don't. You need a good person that's going to show up for work. It's going to make sure that they do the things properly and make sure everything is running smoothly. You need a good person. You actually don't need a tradesman putting square boxes together. You need a good person that can follow basic processes. Where you need a tradesman, absolutely have a tradesman. Where you bring in apprentices, you need to have tradespeople that have the ability to block out time without distraction, without feeling stressed or overwhelmed, so that they can actually teach the apprentices properly. Now, if you as a business owner do not have written processes and all the tradespeople are doing is telling the apprentice what to do, I'm sorry, that isn't teaching. That's telling. And if you were to tell me all the time what to do, I'd probably ignore you after a while. So that's what apprentices do, or at the very least, they don't absorb it. Certainly, the apprentice does not have a teacher or an instructor in the trade school they're in only telling them what to do. That isn't how learning happens. Learning happens through, yes, some talking and some telling, but also some documented processes to follow. The apprentice has workbooks, they have textbooks, they have documents that they follow. So when the instructor tells them things, they're not worried because they know they're going to find that in the textbook so they can discover what they forgot. If you have a cabinet maker, a tradesperson, trying to teach apprentices just by telling them, it's going to fail. And this is where we say, I can't find good people because your apprentice didn't learn. No apprentice learns that way. There has to be written processes. So we need to go up a level and create processes. So there's all of these complexities in creating a manufacturing business that don't enter your world when you're learning about how to be a tradesman. So reach out to us if you want to learn a little bit more about this, but I can promise you that the people that are working with us in our membership, our GPS program, that have gone from tradesman thinking, basic thinking, up to manufacturing mindset, entrepreneurial mindset, leadership mindset, and have had a fresh look at their business for the very first time, have had amazing, just simply amazing breakthroughs and how the business can start to grow and get the weight off your shoulders for the very first time. So I'd love it if this is something that sounds like it's of interest to you to start doing or to try for the first time. Reach out to us. In the box somewhere, there's going to be a clickable link here somewhere to reach out and book a call, because it could be the difference between the next year or the next 30 years of pain and suffering and difficulty, or maybe the next couple of years of a little bit of hard work, putting in some great new methodologies in your business. But after that, smooth sailing, man. Smooth sailing. Bruce from the Joinery Coach, I'd love to chat with you about this. If you'd like to reach out, click the link wherever it is and we'll have a chat. Have an amazing weekend. We'll see you soon. Cheers.